Hey, Jesse, good to see you again.
Hey, Emily, good to see you too.
Yeah, so I was thinking the last time we had a conversation like
Mhm.
this, I think it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've had a whole pandemic since then.
Yeah, political, pandemic, social revolution. A lot's changed since 2000, early 2019, right? But
Right,
it feels
right,
like many years ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
right, right. Well, thank you because I think that we have a lot to catch up on.
Hmm.
And so anybody that is listening in, Jesse and I had a conversation where we talked about this concept about 2 years ago. And Jesse, I don't know if you know this, but as a direct result of people just learning about the brand through our conversation, there were a number of placements and
Hmm.
acquisitions, I think especially in Southern California. So congratulations on your success
Well,
there.
thank you, and yeah, thank you, and thanks to the whole FranNet team. You're the best to work with from our perspective, and really appreciate bringing great brands to the table for your clients.
Thank you. And I truly believe now, I am totally willing to tell on myself. When I first heard about this concept, and I think I shared this when we talked 2 years ago, I was
Hmm.
so skeptical. I thought,
Hmm.
you got to be kidding me. And then I experienced it. And I think I was in the parking lot, like right after I did the workout. I got into my car, and in my car, I texted Blair and Paige and said, guys, you got to try this. Now I get it. It was amazing. So, for those who are not familiar with it, please tell us about the exercise coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So the exercise coach is a really unique brand in what some of you may be thinking about as a crowded industry, right? Fitness, even before COVID and during these times, just there's a lot of gyms, a lot of boutique studios. You hear about all these things opening up around your market. Exercise coach is unique in a couple different ways. Number one, it is a concept that's focused on a different target market. So people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even into their 70s and 80s. But most of our clients are sort of that older baby boomer, sort of older professional getting close to retirement age. That's actually a demographic that a lot of the fitness industry completely ignores for a number of reasons. And so, as a brand, we've really went all in on focusing on a forgotten target market. And then the other really unique part of the exercise coach is we have our own equipment line that an affiliate company that is controlled by the same investment group as the exercise coach builds custom for the brand. So if you go in and do the workout like you tried there in Oregon and we're able to kind of see the power of the Exerbotics equipment, it's called Exerbotics. That's something that if you become a client, you can't get down the street. And really in the fitness industry, again, that's very unique. Yoga is great and spin classes are fun, but you can put some bikes in a room and offer a spin class. You can get yoga mats and a great instructor and offer yoga instruction. You can't get Exerbotics anywhere outside of the exercise coach within the fitness industry. And so those two things, the target market that's really unique, and then the equipment that is not going to be found at the gym down the street, are what make our franchise investors very comfortable, but also our clients come in and see something truly differentiated and something that's built for them. So I understand why you'd be skeptical because you're at least 20 years younger than our target demographic. You're not in the age range that we're going after, Emily. But for those folks in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that don't like the gym, that don't like to work out, we are explicitly looking for people who don't like the gym, who don't like to work out, who need help, who need something that's quick, that's safe, that's effective, that doesn't feel, look, or smell like a gym. And that was attractive to people even before we went through, the last year where people became even a little more stressed out about the environments that they were in. So that's
Right.
what's unique about the brand, and we just have a heartbeat for changing lives, one client at a time. That's really what we're here to do.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, so I'm 44. I'm not that far from the demographic. And when I first heard about exercise coach and I heard about the demographic, the target, I was really happy that that was being addressed. And I also thought, but that doesn't include me. So I'm physically active. I love to train for events, and I'm not somebody that needs motivation to get to the gym. So I thought, well, that doesn't include me. But then I did the workout,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I thought, so if I am like marathon training, this is the perfect thing for cross training to avoid injury. It's not time intensive, like marathon training triathlete, it's really time consuming and it can be exhausting. And then we're prone to injury because we're doing repetitive stuff and we're not cross training. And I thought, where was this when I was training for all those
Sure.
events? Because I would have benefited from the cross training. So even though I am not in the target market that you just mentioned,
Hmm.
sign me up,
Well,
right?
and yeah, and it's funny you say that because we have a lot of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that want to stay competitive at a sport or at an event, but quite honestly, the way they trained in their 20s or 30s, they just simply either can't or quite frankly shouldn't do anymore. And
Exactly.
there's a lot of overtraining. My favorite thing when somebody says I work out, 7 days a week, and I like to joke that they probably could cut that in half and get in better results. Like a lot of people overtrain, a lot of people, and that's okay in your 20s, 30s, maybe 40s. But then a lot of our clients come in and they say, look, I'm not an unlikely exerciser. I'm not afraid of the gym. I've beat myself up over 20 or 30 years, and now I need a different approach that's going to keep
Yeah.
me active, keep me strong. And so, the fitness industry has a menu option for everybody almost, except for this demographic, and that's why it's really exciting to have a business like that that can serve a market. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just high quality, high value, customized. Wait, you're supposed to say these things, but I drank the Kool-Aid. Once I did it, I drank the Kool-Aid. So I don't know if you have any now, or if you'd like to incorporate them now. If you have any visuals, whenever you're so inclined, feel free to pull those up. Um,
Sure.
it's such an experiential thing that I'm hoping we can talk about the machinery and the screen. There's that line that you try to target. Are you going to get into that, or
Absolutely. Yeah.
did I
Yep.
just butcher it?
No, no, that's perfect. We'll certainly touch on that. So
Okay.
I put together just a couple slides here. I should probably start the presentation. So what happens when you record live? Can you see it okay on your
Yeah, yeah,
screen?
it's beautiful. Beautiful.
So I didn't mention, but my wife Amy and I are proud owners of two studios ourselves. So not only do I sell the franchise and help people get into them, but I'm actually an owner of a location. This happens to be the entryway to one of my personal stores. So it's literally probably just taken with an iPhone, but um,
Beautiful.
yeah, Exercise Coach is a brick and mortar. It's a local studio. It can go into office or retail or medical office or commercial office. So it's a really flexible environment in terms of initial investment, in terms of where it needs to go. You only need 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. So what you're seeing here is just a little open lobby. There's some chairs off the screen that you can't see. Front desk, a little screen with some slides, and then the equipment is straight back through the space. So it's open, it's clean, it's simple. We talk about the Exercise Coach being smart, simple, and scalable. It's smart because the business model, the initial investment is lower. You can get into this. You can get a business open quite easily for under $200,000 all in to get the store open, which is really unique within the fitness industry for this type of environment. And then you have your own equipment that the proprietary technology platform in the fitness industry. I'm going to kind of talk through the physical environment first, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about that target market as well. This is what a few of the pictures look like, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of pictures to take in our studios because you have a front waiting room, you have an open training floor with our proprietary equipment, and then sometimes you have a bathroom in the back and an office, and that's about it. So we've really simplified, modernized the physical environment. You're not building out a massive gym with speakers and lights and showers and all that stuff. So we've really reduced the amount of actual construction required to make it easier to open, easier to operate the business. The bottom left corner of this screen is 4 or 5 of our Exerbotics pieces. So that's our proprietary equipment that's only found within the fitness industry at the Exercise Coach. And what those machines are, I'll try to make it kind of a short explanation because it's a lot more impressive when you try it out versus hearing me talk about it. But those machines, you'll notice maybe if your screen's big enough that you're watching this video, there are no weight stacks on those machines, but they are strength training machines. So how does that work? Well, how it works is the user generates the force or the effort. The machine moves. So they're sort of like cool robot machines, basically, where if you turn on, let's say in the middle there's a leg press you can see with a little reclined seat, and there's a little blue headrest that people can use. If I press start with a client in there, that footboard's going to go back and forth. just like this. And if you don't feel like working that day, you could just keep your feet on it and it would move you back and forth. And you'd be like, wow, this is the easiest thing ever. But if you feel like working that day, you're going to go ahead and push against it as it's moving away. Then as it's moving towards you, you're going to resist it. You're going to try to keep it from coming back towards you. And the cool thing is there's a screen where you're seeing how many pounds of force you're producing at every second of the exercise. So in a typical leg press, Emily, I know you know the gym environment pretty well. You might say, okay, I can do 180 pounds or 200 pounds, and you set a weight, and then you do that until you can't do it anymore, and then you move on. Well, the reality is, let's say 200 pounds is what you can use on a standard leg press. I would bet that at certain points in your movement, you could produce 350 or maybe even 400 pounds of strength. So we're not just linearly strong. We're not strong at the same, effort. And we all know this, right? It's harder to lift a gallon of milk if your arm is straight than if your arm is bent at a certain angle. It's harder to get your child off the ground than it is to get them from waist height to shoulder height. So we all know that there's certain times where it's harder to move something or easier to move something. That's called leverage. And then as you get tired, it's harder to lift the same amount of weight or to move the same amount of force, right, as we fatigue. Well, what if a technology could let you work as hard as you could given whatever angle your joint was at or however tired you were that day? Did you sleep well? Did you go to a Super Bowl party the night before and maybe not eat or drink exactly perfectly, right? Your workout might suffer the next day, but that's okay because we want your best today. Then we measure that best today. Then when you come in 3-4 days later, we're going to say, okay, you're going to work against your last workout. And you might improve by 1.2% or something. We can measure that tiny improvement. We measure everything incrementally. So as you're starting with the program, when you start with the fitness program, it's not always easy to see instant results, right? You want these results, fat loss or building bigger muscles. It takes a longer time to do that. But when our clients get in, every day they can see they're 1 or 2 or 3% stronger. And you stack that up over 8 to 12 weeks. And we see some pretty crazy things, people 40, 50, 60% stronger in 2 months, literally, measurably, twice again as strong as they were when they came in. And so it's really cool to kind of see. Yep. Yeah. So
and if I remember correctly, and then the machine is calibrated to the individual. So on the first time I go, they kind of calibrated the machine to me. And I had a coach. I had somebody right there by my side. It was like having a personal trainer just right then and there. It was so personalized. It was extremely clean. I'm guessing that right now or in recent months, people have had to wear masks in there.
Yep.
I would feel completely comfortable going into. I mean, you can already see the machines are spaced apart from each other. Anyway, I just can't say enough about the experience that I had.
Well, I appreciate you visiting, and it does help when you've done it. And that's the thing. I mean, I can have a client just spaced out. So an open machine between two clients, they're both wearing masks. Our coaches are wearing masks, and if the state requires it. You can do 20 minutes of strength training wearing a mask. Try doing an hour-long spin class with a mask over your face, right? You need to breathe, So, I mean, I hate to say this, and it sounds a little bit flippant, but if you had to design a brick and mortar fitness concept that would be appropriately executable during a pandemic, it would be this: by appointment only, 1 or 2 clients at most, maybe 3 in the room at a time. You don't touch anybody else. You're not sharing mats. You're not in close contact. You're not breathing heavy for long periods of time. It is a hard workout, but it's not like cardio where it requires this constant breathing in and out. We can wipe down a machine between each client and away we go. And so for most of our stores, even at 25% capacity restriction, which is what a lot of governments were placing, we can still operate at our normal calendar because the fire code is 10 to 12 people in these rooms. 25% is 2, 3, 4 clients. That's a busy day in our studios. So our small scale, the fact that we don't need a ton of clients for the business to work, weren't based on volume, weren't based on large groups, ended up being in our favor. Not that last year was like easy by any stretch. I mean, it was challenging like anybody else, but compared to the rest of the industry, I think we got off pretty well because of the model. And I go to the next slide, and These are pictures taken prior to COVID-19, obviously, of group training facilities, which were kind of, this was what you would think of when you would think of, hey, my friend just bought a fitness franchise and is opening a studio. It'd be 30 people in a room. We look at that now and go, oh, I don't know, you know. And so this is the picture that, and one day we'll maybe get back to doing this, but a lot of people are going to think twice about, do I really want to be around a bunch of people I don't know? And I think the effects of this are going to linger in our consciousness for a while, and I think Exercise Coach is quite poised to be able to, you know, catch up with that. So.
Yeah. And you just said something kind of conversationally, but I don't think we have touched on it yet in this conversation. Will you please repeat the duration of the workout at the Exercise Coach?
Yeah, sorry, 20 minutes, 20-minute workout.
20 minutes.
100%. Yep.
That's what I was so skeptical about. I was like, you can't get a good workout in 20 minutes. That's what I was so skeptical about. And then I did it. And then I was sore the next day. So anyway.
Yeah. No, real quick on that. Yeah, real quick on that. I mean, the science has been coming out for years that time is not the relevant measure of a workout. Like, you would agree with me even before going in there that if I said I work out an hour a day and you found out that my workout was a walk with the dog, you'd be like, well, I'm proud of you, but you don't really work out an hour a day. If I sprinted 10 minutes a day all out, you know that that is way more exercise than walking or going for a light bike ride an hour a day. Like, we just intuitively know intensity is a big part of exercise. And so you have these high intensity group training classes and all these other things that focus on short bursts of high effort exercise. What we've done is we've taken that into the realm of strength training, which is really what people should be doing in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Cardio's negligibly helpful, but really what's mostly beneficial is building and maintaining lean muscle as we get into that second half of life. So a 20-minute workout, if you're hitting that line, those numbers, you're good for 3-4 days. I mean, you really don't need to do anything else, quite frankly. And that is something that, again, frees up that person who's worried about, oh man, if I start going to the gym with a trainer, they're going to expect me to be here every day. You know, there's this time limitation that people have. So,
right.
A couple quick updates. And obviously, if for those of you watching, if you start working with Emily and her team there with FranNet and want to talk to us about the opportunity, we go into a great amount of detail in a lot of other ways. But just wanted to update folks from a couple years ago. Exercise Coach has been noticed by the franchise industry, which feels good when you're emerging and growing. We hit number 161 on the Franchise 500, which is actually pretty impressive given the fact that we've been really nationally developing for 3 years at this point, way above a lot of other fitness brands you've probably heard of. So that's just a huge, anytime you're on the Franchise 500, but especially you crack the top 200, really, really impressive, especially given the last year that we've had. So congrats to Brian and Brad and the team at Exercise Coach and the whole team at Franchise Fastlane as well for that. We also received an award that not as many people know about, but I think is just as cool. We received an award from the Franchise Media Update magazine. They have their second annual franchising awards. An Exercise Coach in the entire industry of franchising was given the award for the most innovative use of data or data tool. So for those of you who are operational nerds, the KPI dashboard types, their KPI dashboard was called the most innovative data tool in franchising. And you think about the other, you know, franchising includes Subway and, you know, big companies, right, with big back office systems. But what Exercise Coach has done is they've built a marketing, a KPI, and operations back office that is robust enough to take them from 100 units to 500 units. The systems are built. They're ready to go. Now it's just about bringing on new owners and executing. We're also, last week, we hit our 100 store open, which, you know, Emily, is a huge thing. Getting triple digits of not just territory sold or contracts awarded, but like actual operating stores, 100 units. Depending on the research, 10 to 15% of franchise systems ever get to that point. So when you're in the Franchise 500, when you have 100 operating units, you're kind of on the short list of brands that people are paying attention to, and just very, very proud of that. And then our goal, 200 plus operating units in 2023. We're recording this at the beginning of 2021. So another 100 units in the next 2 years, which sounds like a lot, but given the momentum that we've been able to develop, I think is achievable.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got one other statistic to congratulate you on that I'm not sure if you're aware of.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so last month I did a presentation with Blair Nickel, and we featured the top 8 brands in FranNet in 2020, meaning that these are the brands that our clients, after conducting due diligence, working with a professional, these are the brands that our clients bought. The exercise coach was in the top 8. So congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we work with clients day in and day out on the phones every day, people who are in transition in their lives, and we truly love and care for these people and want to help them make the right decision. So to hear that you guys, your organization, which is the top in the industry, thinks that we're one of the top as well, I just thank you so much for sharing that. That means a lot to us.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the demographic real quick. The 50-plus audience is really our heartbeat. We've been around 20 years, we've been franchising 10 years, so we didn't just pop up, yesterday, and this has been our focus for a majority of that time. The average age of a client at Exercise Coach is 56. The average age at other boutique fitness studios, spin, yoga, CrossFit, whatever, is 29. So a lot of people are surprised at how young the average boutique user is, because it is a more expensive, the boutiques are more expensive than the low-cost gyms. So again, the fitness industry is all in on millennials and Gen Yers and younger Gen Xers like that. They explicitly develop programs typically for that age range. Our clients are more affluent. They're focused on wellness, not just getting a great workout, but really long-term health and wellness. We see much higher retention rates in our demographic than the 20 and 30 somethings that tend to gym hop or studio hop. So this is a much stable target audience as well, which, again, when everybody else is chasing that young, fun sort of group workout thing, it can feel like, oh, we're kind of the slow, the slow, steady Eddie over here. But it turned out that it was the right move for us for a number of different reasons. And certainly in the last year has paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. Which reminds me, I got to get my mom in there.
Come on in.
I got to get my mom in there. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very active. My mom is pretty sedentary, and we both benefit from the exercise coach.
Yep. It fits a lot of different people. We were talking, it's not our audience, but teenagers, kids who struggle with, getting in shape, people with, range of mobility issues in their 30s or 40s, medical conditions that keep them from being able to just go to the gym. They can thrive here. So it's not just that older demographic, although that is the primary audience. People who don't fit into standard fitness, who need a little bit of help and coaching, we are the best, and I would argue in a lot of cases the only place they should start. And so it's fun to offer that type of solution to people.
Awesome. So in terms of territory availability, off the top of my head regarding Oregon, we do have one owner in Lake Oswego, but the rest of the Portland market is currently wide open. We
Correct.
do have an owner in Bend.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about like Salem and Eugene or other markets. Do you happen to know?
They're open as well. So we have,
We've got
So
some really great territory available,
Yeah.
and we have just enough that if people want to experience it for themselves, they could go to Lake Oswego or Bend. So
We'd
this
love
is
to have
great.
them shown. Yep, absolutely.
Jesse, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your beautiful glowing palm tree with us. I understand it's a little bit cold in Minnesota. What's the temperature there right now?
Right now
days?
it might be 3 or 4, which is 25 degrees warmer than it was when I woke up on Sunday. It was -18. This is air temperature. This is Fahrenheit for those of you who think I'm cheating and using Celsius or something else. So I was telling it, and by the way, it's February 9th or whatever, so it's way past Christmas, but I don't intend on taking my Christmas palm tree down until the temperatures start to hit 60 or 70 degrees, which could be another 90 days. So this is going to be lighting my life for the foreseeable future, basically.
May it warm your hearts until the temperatures go up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the success of the exercise coach. And also thank you for being such a phenomenal partner for FranNet. It's great to be able to partner with such great companies like the exercise coach. So all my best to you and everyone at the exercise coach. And thanks for your time today.
My pleasure, Emily. Anytime.
All right.
Thank you so much as well.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.